What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Multiverse Monologues, the podcast show where we like to travel across the multiverses and fandoms that we love to talk about the movies and TV shows that accompany those universes. And today, we are continuing with our Marvel movie marathon. We are staying in the MCU. I think month ago, we reviewed Iron Man, the start of the MCU, and we are going to Chapter 2 of Phase 1, The Incredible Hulk. I am your co-host, Ben Rayside, and here with me today are my other loyal co-hosts to this Marvel movie marathon. First off, we have Mr. Ethan Wentzloff. Ethan, how are you doing today?
I'm stoked to be here. I'm doing great, and I just want to point out this early on the podcast, this is the third calendar year that Multiverse Monologues has been in business, and we're still pumping on all cylinders. I mean, we started late 2020. We did all 2021. No. We started late 2021. We did 2022.
Yes.
And now it is 2023. Not 3 years fully, but the third calendar year. I'm happy to be here. We thought when we start this that mixing all this together would be a mixture that would make an abomination. But I'm glad to say that it is anything but an abomination. Let's do this.
It's a surprising fact that that's pretty much the line in the movie. Pretty much, but we will talk about it.
That is a line from the movie.
Pretty
You're
much. The mixture could be an abomination. But that laugh you hear is also Mr. Micah Head. He's joining us again. He hasn't been on the podcast in a while, man. It's good to have you back. How are you today, Micah?
Oh, man, I'm great. It's been since Iron Man. Man, they can keep shooting us, but we will not. It will not even penetrate our skin. We will still pump out these multiverse
Who's
monologues.
they? Who's shooting at us in this metaphor?
The world.
The world.
The world is against
They like
us.
to attack us.
Putting down multiverse monologues. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm wearing my green shirt for Hulk. It was a complete coincidence, but yeah, let's do it.
Let's just say you did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do have my Marvel hoodie on. I did sport the occasion for more reasons than one. I will say that.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, today we're going to be talking about Incredible Hulk, but before we jump into it, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe. That would go a long way, and also follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or, wherever else you get your podcasts. But let's dive into it, gentlemen. Open our sling ring and head over to the MCU.
I've got a problem. There are aspects of my personality that I can't control.
See a shrink.
It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Bruce, trust me when I tell you, I've heard them all.
Not this one.
Incredible Hulk. Is it incredible? We're here to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Me, Ethan, Micah. But before we get into it, it's been a while since even I have seen this movie, and I can say that it's probably been maybe even longer for those of you listening. So Ethan, as always, has typed up a quick summary for those of you who want a just quick refresher and reminder of, what the heck happened in the second phase of the MCU.
It's not quite the second phase in the MCU, Ben. The
Second
second
chapter.
entry into the MCU, The Incredible Hulk, written by Zach Penn, directed by Louis Leterrier. And this one stars Edward Norton as Bruce Banner, notably not Eric Bana, and notably not Mark Ruffalo. It also stars Liv Tyler as Betty Ross, Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky, William Hurt as General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, may he rest in peace, and Tim Black Nelson as Samuel Stearns. In The Incredible Hulk, this movie tells a story of Dr. Bruce Banner, who seeks a cure from his unique condition, which causes him to turn into a giant green monster under emotional stress. While on the run from the military, which seeks his capture to use Bruce's body for military gain, Bruce Banner comes close to a cure while reconnecting with his old love, Betty Ross. But all is lost when a new creature emerges, the Abomination.
Micah, how long has it been since you've seen that?
You know,
since you've seen this movie?
I bought the the box sets. You have the same box sets, right? The
Yes.
the Phase box sets.
Phase 1, Phase
Yep.
2,
Phase
Phase 3,
3,
Part 1. Yep.
Part 2. Yeah. I have 1, 2, 3, Part 1. I have those ones. This is the only movie out of those I've seen from it.
Really?
Yeah. From all of my discs that I have of Marvel.
You made use of it.
I've only seen this movie, and I've seen it twice now.
Not that you've only seen this one, but it's the only one that you've
From my
watched the DVD.
So I've spent
Yes.
what, $100, $200 on these sets?
I will say though, the box art, and
They look sick
everything,
on the shelf.
the mini
They'll sell
posters
for
that
more
come
than
with
that
it.
one day.
Oh yeah, sure.
Listen, it's completely worth it. in
I
my
just
opinion.
say the last time I saw this was with my dad. We just finished watching all of the X-Men movies, and then we were going to move through the MCU. So I had watched Iron Man by myself, and then I watched that on like Netflix or whatever it was on at the time. And then I watched The Incredible Hulk, and that was maybe sophomore year of high school. So what, 6 years ago almost now?
Holy catfish.
But yeah, this was
Yeah.
the most recent rewatch of an MCU movie I've done.
Okay.
That wasn't in theaters
right.
or like recently released.
Okay. Ethan, what about for you?
So last time I watched this movie was what is it, 2 hours ago? But before that,
Good point.
Before that, I don't know. I've only seen this movie one other time than the time we've sat down to watch for this, and I couldn't tell you when. It was sometime after the Avengers, and probably during Phase 2 at some point when I sat down and watched this for the first time. But either way, it's been a long time.
It's been a while, man. And there's a reason for that. Because this is undoubtedly, like, if we're not counting She-Hulk, this is the black sheep of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing touched this until this year, or I should say last year.
Or 2 years.
Shang-Chi, yeah, that's true.
Shang-Chi touched it, and we had a What If episode dedicated to this.
And I guess if you want to count Civil War bringing Thaddeus Ross back, but you didn't need to watch this to truly appreciate Avengers or any of the other MCU films, because they pretty much scrapped a lot of what happened in this
Really
movie.
is a black sheep of the MCU.
Yes, and
Green sheep, rather.
you could say that. One might say that, actually. But going back and rewatching this, it's been about 4 or 5 years now, I guess, since I've seen it. Does it have merit? We are in an era of the MCU. We are just finishing up Phase 4, and there has been a lot of criticism, a lot of jokes. Does this movie age better? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. I have a few thoughts.
Yeah.
But
I like what you're saying is presenting this like this is the old style of Marvel back when things were a little more serious. We have a few jokes in here and a few really, really corny lines, which Marvel does a lot more nowadays. But no, I feel what you're saying. We sit down, we watch this, and there is just a tonal shift. This feels different. For me personally, the first 28 minutes of this movie I absolutely love. I think it is great with Edward Norton's Bruce Banner just struggling. You know, you have the little indicator. 156 days since last incident. I love all that. I love seeing how serious turning into the Hulk really is for this guy who, by all means, was a normal guy a couple years ago. So I do think that there is I would like to see Marvel get back to more serious storytelling, but there is a tonal shift. And this is, I'd say, the humor in the MCU movies nowadays, it kind of it balances out with how the writing has improved, how CGI has improved, and how overall movies are made and the connective tissue that it has. But no, I do think that there is merit to what you're saying, that a more serious early MCU should be appreciated.
it got me nostalgic. I remember watching this movie as a kid because like when I got into Marvel, Avengers had just come out. So we only had in the MCU those 5 films. So I would watch those films constantly. And it got me like really nostalgic for that time in the MCU in a way that like that movie can make that happen, Thor can make that happen, and Captain America, the first
can't wait for
Avenger,
that movie.
can make that happen. It's like, wow. I remember when I was this age and I was like thinking of all the possibilities of where the MCU could go, and it was because of movies like this.
Mm-hmm.
this one. That even though it's a black sheep, still really, I mean, I would say that one of the best things that this movie does for me personally is its world building, not just in the MCU, but for like Hulk's little corner of the MCU that really never gets touched, because there is so many characters and references and Easter eggs, probably one of the most we've ever seen, that kind of just go off the rails. And I've taken note of almost every one that I could find, but it really, I would have liked to see a sequel to this movie, even though I will say that for me, this is a significant step down from Iron Man. And for a majority of this movie, I am left wanting a little bit more.
Yeah, agreed.
That's just my opinion. Micah, what do you think?
Well, I think the thing that we should be comparing it to is it better than the Hulk?
Ang Lee's Hulk.
Ang Lee's Hulk. And personally, I think that it fails to do a lot of what Eric Bana's Hulk did.
Okay.
I think that Hulk, or Ang Lee's Hulk.
Ang Lee's Hulk,
Ang
yeah.
Lee's Hulk. I think he had exactly what the people wanted. You can go back to that episode. I said it then, I'll say it again. They said they did exactly what Hulk should be doing, destroying all these cool things, making the huge jumps, Hulk smash, all the cool stuff. And then second to that is the story. And I think that's what this movie kind of forgot to do completely. It tried to be its own thing, separate from what Ang Lee did. And I think that may be why it failed so much. People went into the Hulk movie expecting the entire movie, just like Ang Lee's Hulk, to be completely action. And in this movie, you have a lot more of Bruce Banner. You have a lot of his relationship with Betty Ross. You have a lot of these other things that we might not expect going into a Hulk movie. So I don't think the audiences were ready for this.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying. I think that Ang Lee's Hulk has many, many flaws, and
a lot of charisma.
It does have, it has its own style. It does. And I'll note at this point that when making The Incredible Hulk, it was referred to as a requel, which is a remake and also a sequel. So they wanted to use some elements from Ang Lee's Hulk and kind of make it in a way. And Ryan Arey from Screen Crush, he just came out with a video a couple weeks ago telling us as fans why Ang Lee's Hulk is actually the first MCU film. And he lays out his argument in that movie. And there is some ground to stand on it. Now, I don't want to associate myself ever again with Ang Lee's Hulk. So it's my belief that it is not part of the MCU,
So
but there is an argument for it.
You would say that this is a step up from Ang Lee's Hulk.
I would, yes. And
Like in quality, you think this movie is better than...
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I think Ang Lee's Hulk was so long, and the comic style page, you know, we all remember that. And if you're listening, you can go back and listen to our Ang Lee Hulk review.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded that in a hot room.
Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
It's beside the note. But no, I think this is a step up. Not a huge step up, but I think that the quality is there, and I think Edward Norton brings something. He doesn't bring his A game. We've seen Edward Norton bring his A game. He doesn't bring that in this.
Yeah.
But I think he brings something to this role that can be appreciated that Eric Bana did not.
It's confusing because you really have an all-star cast. You have the guy from Fight Club. You have General Ross, who's played by, I'm forgetting his name now, but
I've got IMDb pulled up.
Tim Roth, I think, is his name. Oh no, he's
William
Abomination.
Hurt, you've got
William
Liv Tyler,
Hurt.
Tim
Liv Tyler.
Roth is Emil Blonsky.
Liv Tyler.
You got
from
Tim Blake Nelson,
Lord of the
Love that
Rings.
guy.
Like, this
Burrell.
cast is huge, but I don't think like anyone really brings their A game.
No,
You know,
Liv Tyler especially.
She
I feel like
was
she
the
wasn't good.
worst.
She
At all.
was so flat the
Her
entire film.
line delivery is maybe my biggest critique of this
She
movie.
just was off the whole thing.
Bruce, what are you doing, Bruce?
Like, you couldn't hear her the whole... I had the
too
captions on, so thankfully I understood what she was saying, but she just delivers every line so quietly, and that's what's funny about this movie is we've seen all these actors give performances before. We know that they can be good. And I do actually think that Tim Roth is really good in this movie as Emil Blonsky.
He is, yes.
It's
For the role that he fits, he's perfect for.
Oh yeah, and it's completely different from what they show us, and we'll get to it later how it relates to She-Hulk, but
And the
he is a
greater
completely
MCU.
different character in She-Hulk. I can understand why people are disappointed now.
I will say this: I much prefer the Incredible Hulk's version.
Oh, yeah,
of
for sure.
Abomination than She-Hulk's.
What's before all his years of therapy?
And I
being
get that.
in
I
prison.
know why, but I like the soldier, the super soldier,
yes.
quote unquote, style of
that
him just
fight
being
he
an
has
absolute
with the Hulk
beast.
1v1 before he's the Abomination. That is sweet.
Is that all you got?
Him
His
doing
motive
flips.
is completely different from in She-Hulk. I think that they change his character so much in She-Hulk that it's not even the same character. I mean, he has the same powers, but he wanted to fight Hulk for the challenge, for the thrill of the fight, and he... What?
Yeah.
I think that's what made his whole character, and if you take that away from him, then he's just a man in Crocs.
We're going to talk about this later, but She-Hulk, I think, has to be, like, you have to take that in a certain way. Like, you have to approach She-Hulk knowing what She-Hulk's character is. And that is a way, like, if you do that, I think you have an enjoyable time with the show no matter what. But, I mean, if you're coming in expecting, like, all these characters to come back who you saw before, you're going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, like for example, in She-Hulk, Daredevil's one of my all-time favorites, and he's portrayed a little differently than I'd prefer him to be, but I'm not mad about that because it is told through the picture of this lens that is She-Hulk, which is a little more comedic and not as serious, and they kind of are tongue-in-cheek with their way of doing things.
Well, let's remind ourselves, too, what's canon. Is Daredevil Netflix show canon? Is The Incredible Hulk canon? That's the thing.
The Incredible Hulk is canon.
Yeah,
for sure.
He has
Yes.
stated, as much as Kevin Feige would probably like to obliterate this movie from the face of the earth, it is canon. And, I mean, now especially, like, they're like, let's take elements from this. I believe Tim Blake Nelson is coming back as the leader in
New World Order.
New World. Thank you.
Yep.
New World Order.
They
yes.
never show what happens to that guy in this movie.
Well, they show you that his head starts to
Yeah,
pop.
but
We
they
still
never
don't
show-
know what happens.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
find
a
out.
cliffhanger. I was
I
waiting for that.
love that. Like, that was part of, like, the MCU that I loved, the early MCU, that was like, they wouldn't necessarily go all out and say, yeah, we're going to do this like they do now. They would just, the plot would happen, and randomly you'd see him get knocked down, and his head would start to pop, and you're like, what? That's weird. And then you look into it, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Samuel Stearns, he's the leader. Could they be setting? And then your mind would go, okay, where does that take us next? And next, that was like the one plot point that they never continued with. And I cannot wait, because who doesn't like Tim Blake Nelson? He's a treasure to us all. And so I cannot
I
wait.
love him in the Coen Brothers
see.
movies.
Yeah,
Oh, Brother, We're Out
there you
Thou
go.
by all the Buster Scruggs.
There
I
you
think
go.
his top
Yes.
role is from Holes.
From Holes. Oh, I forgot he was in
Absolutely,
that.
it is. Absolutely, he is a national treasure, and he is great in this movie. But I like what you said about the beginning, Ethan, about how it's very like, it's just very interesting to see where he's at, because if you take it as a sequel to the first one, he is basically right where that movie left off. He's out and about. He's trying to get
On
rid
the
of his
run.
disease. I've never seen computer typing done so well. I'm not going to lie. Like, his conversations with Mr. Blue and Mr. Green, like, they're very tense. And I think a lot of it has to do with Craig Armstrong's score. He went all out. I did not know this, but I looked into it. And he uses themes from the Incredible Hulk television show from the 70s.
Wow.
Like, I didn't know this. I've never listened to that soundtrack before, but he was so passionate about this that it got a 2-disc release on physical media.
Sheesh.
And it's actually really good. I've always liked the Incredible Hulk soundtrack, especially when he's tearing through the favela in that country, when the guys come in and try and take him, you know? Do not lose him. It's a really tense chase sequence that I think is done really, really well. That, unfortunately, after that, I think the movie starts to take a dip. Obviously, anytime we get to see Ty Burrell is epic in this movie because of Modern Family, but once he starts to enter the picture, I would say. And also, if you've
I'd
seen
say
the
once
trailer,
Liv Tyler enters the
Yes.
picture, the movie really shifts, and you kind
Yes.
of you lose the focus on what made it cool. What made it cool was, Bruce running from the military. But then you throw Liv Tyler in there, and they kind of make it into a love story. And for me, that's when the movie really gets kind of boring. and drags on.
I think what was cool about that chase scene is that there's stakes that other characters in different movies don't have, and it's the heart rate. He can't run too fast. He can't freak out, or else he will turn, and he doesn't want to. I think they could have kept going with that even further throughout the movie. They could have taken that to its limits. They
did, man.
They do a different one, where it's a bit of.
What are we referencing, Mike?
Yeah, there's this thing, right? The thing of the. So,
All right. You're talking about
this. No, it's okay. No, I can't.
Mike is referring to a makeout scene later in the film where Bruce Banner may get a little too excited and they have to
I can't
stop.
get too excited. Not even a little excited.
Yeah, it's just it's scenes like that where it's like, and you can tell because there's right before that happens, they're like hugging, and then it's an immediate cut right to them starting to make out, and it's not natural at all. It was like, all right, we just need to put this in because we're early phase MCU.
It seemed like a very and action.
Well, because right, okay, start kissing,
Yeah.
And it's just not good. Their relationship is certainly not the greatest. Although there has been rumors that Liv Tyler might come back as
Wouldn't
Betty
that be
Ross
something?
in the MCU. Wouldn't that be something, man? It would be a little weird because last time we saw her, she was interacting with Edward Norton, and now she may interact with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, how do we feel about the switch? How do you guys feel about Edward Norton versus Mark Ruffalo?
It's early enough.
Yeah, this is a debate. I know my brother Caleb, he loves Edward Norton's Hulk, and he really despises Mark Ruffalo. Me personally, Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk I saw first, and I really enjoy his portrayal, particularly in the first two Avengers films. And we also have to highlight that Marvel doesn't fully have the rights to the Hulk, which is why to this day we've only had this one Hulk movie in the MCU. Universal owns the rights, so Marvel can't make a solo Hulk film right now.
So how come we can have World War Hulk or whatever that movie is coming out?
We don't
That's
have any
never
confirmation
Oh,
of
that's
that.
not confirmed?
No.
Okay. I thought that was coming out. Okay.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I really would hope so. 'Cause
It's the same thing with Spider-Man in the MCU.
Gotcha.
Sony agrees to let Kevin Feige play around with the character. Universal also has to do that with the Hulk.
Do they still own Fantastic Four too? No.
no,
Because I know
Fantastic-
that's one of the rides and stuff they have at Universal Studios. I'm just thinking of those
Fantastic Four is owned by Fox, who
Gotcha.
is now owned by Disney. So
That's right.
everyone, I believe Hulk and Spider-Man, along with his universe of characters, are the only characters who Marvel does not have exclusive rights to, which is unfortunate because those are two of Marvel's biggest characters, and they could really do a lot with that. But I think, back to your question about who is a better Hulk, so my first Avengers experience was Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoon from the early 2010s, which is one of, if not the best superhero cartoon out there. And Edward Norton reminds me a lot of that Bruce Banner. So I like that. It's just, I didn't realize it until now that I do prefer Avengers 1 and Avengers 2 version Mark Ruffalo. That is, I think, the best version.
And the
of
Hulk
him.
look is much better
Yes.
in those films, too,
Yes.
because say what you want about the performance, but Edward Norton's Hulk looks nothing like Edward Norton. You look at Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, you can tell
It's Mark
That's him.
Ruffalo.
that's
yeah.
Mark Ruffalo. Yeah.
I think another thing that this Hulk really gets right is the use of a different person's voice for the voiceover. Lou Ferrigno voices Hulk again.
Did he really?
Yes.
And he also has a cameo.
And he does have a
movie.
cameo.
does.
He's the security guard. in
We're
the,
gonna take a trip over to Cameo Corner here. 'cause
So
I've
yeah,
got quite a
that's
few.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is, you guys have seen Ragnarok. You know Hulk's voice. It sounds very digital. It sounds bad in that movie, and that's one of the things that I've grown to hate about Hulk is that the voice isn't a real voice. It's a toned down, like a pitched down voice, and it just doesn't sound good. And this one sounds good, and I think they should just go back to this. Where is Lou Ferrigno still alive? Could they just bring back Lou Ferrigno? I have no idea.
I'm not sure, but I
He's
do
still
agree.
alive.
Like the Hulk is and always should be, like a brutal character.
Yeah.
You know, like a really dark. I love the scenes where you can kind of see the Hulk in this movie, but he's obscured by smoke.
His first
or
appearance
something
in the
like
film.
that. It's really,
Yes.
really
He doesn't show
done
up
well.
full body until
Like-
like 45 hour into the movie.
But it's
Out of the bridge.
But it's done so well. Like
is.
the way that they
When
handle
he's
it.
when
it's-
he's shot like a horror villain.
It's
That's when he's good.
Yes,
Yeah.
just like they do in the first Avengers movie.
Like in the
as
soda
well.
in the soda factory. I think that was a
Yes.
really
Yes.
good scene. That was a good fight scene because you don't see him. He's obscure. He's gone.
We don't like. It's almost weird, but we don't have that anymore. Like we haven't had that for a long time. It's been Smart Hulk, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I start to see where people are coming from, where it's like I want a big Hulkish Hulk.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
I asked you in our She-Hulk podcast, what are your thoughts on the way that the MCU's taken the Hulk? Now that we have the most recent appearance of him in She-Hulk as Professor Hulk, and now we've gone back to his very first appearance, I want to ask you two again, how do you feel about the MCU's handling of the Hulk and doing what they have done with him?
Well, they used him a little bit. They made the Hulkbuster suit and they fought him when. Which movie was that? I
That
forget.
was Age of Ultron.
Age of
Age of
Ultron.
Ultron. That's what. Yeah, and he was under control, right, from Loki. Age of
Wanda.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. So I'm gonna have
Wanda controls his mind.
Wanda controls him, and then we see True Strength Hulk. I'm excited to see that again on our watch through.
Yeah.
But we need more of that. I think
Yes.
that in the future MCU, even if it's not Hulk doing that, we need a Hulk equivalent so that we can see Hulk's powers again. It was really cool in Infinity War seeing him fight against Thanos and seeing Thanos as just pure strength against Hulk.
Yeah, and with that being said, we can, because you want to see another Hulk-esque character coming in, we do have the very recent casting of Harrison Ford as the new Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. So I think casting an actor to that level could mean that we are going to get a Red Hulk.
I think that would be the wisest move because dude, he's old, man. So make him this brute, but I mean, it's Harrison Ford. You know, that would be pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. I would like that. But I think it reaches its peak in Avengers, and we'll talk about it more there, but just Hulk goes
That movie,
all
beautiful.
out in that
Yes,
movie.
Yeah.
Just a little side note. I freaking love the first Avengers movie.
It's so-
I am so excited.
I keep thinking about how
to
we're
get
going to be able
there.
to watch it.
You know who
Yeah.
wrote that movie?
Joss Whedon,
Zach Penn. He screenwrote it.
the
first
first Avengers
Avengers?
movie?
Yeah.
Did he really?
He wrote the story. And you know who wrote Elektra?
No
Zach
way.
Penn.
No way.
You know who wrote X-Men Last Stand? Zach Penn.
Wow, he really struck a gold mine with...
He did.
Well, it
So,
really
like, he
well, 'cause
is hit or miss with some of these things. He even wrote Free Guy. I haven't seen Free Guy, but I heard that was good.
I like
Free Guy is
Free
great.
Guy's good?
Yeah.
Free Guy's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really, really good. I mean, Joss Whedon also, I mean, he's had a pretty stingy track record, but he really like went all out. I'll even say for Age of Ultron,
They
which
must
I
have just been
love.
pumped for the Avengers.
I love Avengers Age of Ultron. I will defend that movie till I die. But anyway, back to the early days of the MCU, Incredible Hulk. Acting, not the greatest. I want to talk about like Edward Norton. Certain times he's great. And then there's other times where his line delivery is like, if I could just borrow some cash, you know, like I don't know. It's not like you have a hard time rooting for him. I think that's where I come from, where it's like in the first movie they made me root for an alcoholic, you know, who is a ladies' man, like he's this idiot.
Yeah.
But they made me root for him. I don't think they did a good job with that with this movie. And I think a reason could be is that even though Louis Leterrier is the director, Edward Norton behind the scenes was rewriting a lot of this movie because he didn't agree with the direction that they were going with in this movie. Originally, Louis Leterrier wanted Mark Ruffalo to be the Hulk. That was his first pick. So even back then, they were looking at Hulk. And I think that's where Joss Whedon was like, that's where he...
Which is funny because when Eric Bana was casted in Ang Lee's Hulk, they wanted Edward Norton. So there's kind of like a little chain we got going on here.
Well, because they actually did ask, the very first, they did ask Eric Bana to come back and do Hulk. That was very early days, though. Like, then they kind of went in the direction of, no, we need to get a new Hulk. But they did ask Eric Bana to come back and do this role, which I'm thankful that they did not.
Did you guys think that this Bruce Banner was smart? Because I did not.
That is true. I will
didn't
say
think he was
this.
smart at all.
The first Hulk does do that better.
Yeah, Ang Lee's Hulk, he was smart. Like he had some wit on him. Like, he was good. This one, what are the characteristics of this Bruce Banner?
He's mostly just on the run.
I mean, they
And
say that he was confident in his work and then did this experiment on himself. That's like the only backstory we get. But we don't see him like making his own, I don't know, defense system or, I don't know, showing, what's the other guy's name? Showing Samuel Stearns his own knowledge on this. We don't see anything like that. We don't see him being impressively smart. And that's half of his character. Half of his character is being the smart Professor Bruce Banner. And then the other half is, or Dr. Bruce Banner. And then the other half is being the strong, brute Hulk. And I think that's also where this movie fails. Ang Lee's Hulk, they did that. They did that, and it was good, in my opinion. I mean, it could have been written more realistically, but then it wouldn't be as comic booky and as charismatic as what I liked about Ang Lee's Hulk. So this movie, I think, just rips the character out of Bruce Banner.
I agree. I think that's a good take. I think that at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, this is just like as low as you can go, kind of on the end. Well, not as low. I will say that.
Like,
it wasn't offensive, but it's definitely like it definitely held the spot as worst Marvel movie for a reason for a while.
It's no Daredevil, but no Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah, but this is like when you have a starting off point of Iron Man, where it's like, I mean, what did I give them? Like an 8.5?
Yeah, these
like, that's
must have been
really,
in development
really
at the same
good.
time and recording side by side. Like they couldn't have seen, oh, they're doing really well. We should step ours up a little bit.
This movie was released 2 months after Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like in quick succession. So, I mean, you think we're getting Marvel content fast and heavy nowadays, man. They got to write 2 months, 2 new movies. But, I mean, I don't know. It's a different studio.
Yeah.
So Marvel had a hand in it, but I think different studio as well as some Edward Norton.
Oh, this was
meddling.
next month. It was May and June.
Oh, wow.
Iron Man
One
came out
month.
in May.
1 month.
Incredible Hulk was June 13th.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not a good turnaround.
Marvel
Because at that point, Iron Man's still in theaters, and it's
Yeah, they were side by side in the
if
theaters.
I want to go see a Marvel movie in theaters, I'm not going to see the Hulk. I mean,
how-
maybe
how old did
the
this dude?
character's name.
But think-
Yeah, he was bigger
But think
then.
about
What
it,
kind of
though.
money
He
did
was
this thing make?
huge back then.
Yeah.
Hulk was like, I don't know why they didn't make more movies with Hulk.
This
but
made
then he,
half as much as Iron Man.
how
barely
much did it? How much?
All right, Iron Man made 585 million. This made 265. Less than half.
Wow,
This is
big step down.
yeah.
I can see that.
And
There-
it's probably because they were fighting against themselves.
there's nothing in
for
this movie that you
trailers.
can really like grab onto.
Hmm.
You know, it's a very serviceable first Hulk movie. With, I mean, look at Louis Leterrier's directing credits. He doesn't have much of anything to really say on. I mean, there might be one that I looked and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. But other than that, it's all like Transporter, very generic action movies.
Now You See Me, he did that.
That one was the one where I was like, okay, that's a good
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, he did The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, that horrible TV show.
I watched one episode.
Oh,
and
it
I
was
like,
so bad.
Whoa, holy cow! I am
Clash
not
of
the
the
man
Titans.
for this.
God.
For this.
Yeah, so
Like
this
nothing.
did come right after Iron Man, and we do get a slight Iron Man cameo in this film.
That
at
was
the-
cool.
At the very end.
It should have been
yeah.
a post-credit scene.
It plays like a
It's funny. The
post-credit scene.
IMDb has this listed as, this is the only Marvel post-credit scene that takes place during the actual film. That's not a post-credit scene then.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just part
it's
of the film, IMDb. Come on.
Just like Blade. Blade didn't have a post-credit scene, but
Yeah.
it was basically a post-credit scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I do want to take a walk around or maybe a drive to Cameo Corner because there's quite a few in-universe and out-of-universe cameos that we need to talk about.
One of my favorite Stanley cameos. I love this one.
Okay, let's go to that one first because always, no matter what, we always reference this is one of the best Stanley cameos. He takes a drink. Wow. Oh my goodness.
And is this the moment that Stan Lee gains superpowers? Let's talk about this.
I
He was getting a little
believe
more kicked. I mean, he should have, based on the properties of the blood, unless if it killed him right
I
away.
think it killed him. I think that's what got
I don't
their
think it killed
attention.
him. I don't think it killed him.
Really? So
Have you guys heard the Stan Lee theory?
There
where
is
it's
the
like-
theory that, the Stan Lee that appears in every movie is the same character.
Really?
Yes.
How have I not? Whoa.
He just has many jobs.
Many jobs. You're telling me that he went to space in one of them?
Yeah.
Canonically, he should have Hulk powers or some form of
And
it.
canonically, I think he can lift Mjolnir too.
If you've ever
maybe?
played Lego Marvel Superheroes, the first game, if you unlock the Stan Lee character, you can turn into Stan Hulk. So he does have it in that game. So I guess basically that
It is
confirms
canon.
it. It is canon. We also have a cameo from Lou Ferrigno, the original. Well, we have both of their cameos.
The one is a loose cameo, you know. As
As
Edward Norton is flipping through the TV, there is a short Bill Bixby, or is that his name?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Bixby moment on the cameo. Unfortunately, he had already passed away.
Yes.
At the time of making this movie, so he couldn't have an actual cameo.
Who's Bill Bixby? Could you explain that?
He is the actor who portrayed the Hulk in the 1970s TV show.
So in the 70s Incredible Hulk TV show, there was Bill Bixby who played Dr. David Banner.
David Banner.
And then
David Banner.
there was Lou Ferrigno who played the Incredible Hulk.
Once he transferred.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
You texted in the group chat, epic bribe of the pizza.
Oh, that is the best. I think that was my favorite scene in this whole movie. I know you're going to say it later in the episode, but that scene where
good one.
it's so realistic. He goes up, he's like, listen, man, I got a delivery on floor 5. There's nobody up there. I got an extra medium. Can please just let me go up. God bless you, man.
Which that is a perfect segue into our next cameo. Yeah, up in the lab, the gentleman eating pizza.
I love how it's implied that he bribed the other scientists up there with pizza so that he can go. So he lists the pizzas like, thanks, man.
Wait a minute. Hold
to
on.
the computer.
The
Who's
gentleman
that guy?
eating pizza.
Who's that guy?
He's a person? I was looking to see.
He's a real person?
That's Martin Starr.
No way.
He comes back later in Spider-Man: Far From Home. He's the teacher. He's Mr. Harrington.
No way.
You're
And
joking.
Kevin
me.
Feige has backhandedly confirmed that yes, that is the same character.
Like the guy who's
The
not
guy who's
the
eating pizza in the lab.
What?
Yes.
No way. I'm looking it up right now. That's him.
What? That's epic. Hold on. I did not have that written down. This is so cool.
Have they
All
said
right.
that he's wait. Yeah, keep going, guys. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Feige said people
He's
asked him.
listed as computer nerd. Okay.
Yeah, he's listed as computer nerd.
You
Yeah.
can say he's sure. Why not?
It's one of those things like, oh, is that young boy in
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2 Peter Parker?
Sure,
They're
why
like,
not?
yeah, sure, why not? But this is the case in this is literally the same actor, same face. He didn't get a name in the first one, so
There you go.
why not
Why
connect
not?
the dots?
All right.
Wow, look at that,
I
man.
like that. That's funny.
I like that a lot too. In the beginning opening credits, you get Dr. Erskine's name, who made. We also get a lot of references to the Super Soldier.
Nick
project.
Fury's in there too.
Nick
I saw
Fury,
that one
Nick
fly by.
Fury's name.
We don't
Tony
see him in the
Stark.
movie.
Stark Industries is also named. I have here Rick Jones appears in this movie as a credit in the opening ones. And if you don't know who Rick Jones is, he is A-Bomb, which is like a blue Hulk. If you've ever watched Hulk and the Agents of Smash, you would know who A-Bomb is. But
I love how ridiculous
he
the
is,
names are.
yeah. A-Bomb, Scar, She-Hulk, Red Hulk, and Hulk.
I think that's another thing. Actually,
She Red Hulk's one too.
Yep.
She-Red Hulk, yeah. I think that's another thing that this movie doesn't get quite right. Ang Lee's Hulk, it felt more natural for him to say the catchphrases of like Hulk smash and do the Hulk clap and stuff. This one, it felt like they just threw him in there.
I don't know.
Any last words? Hulk smash like that. All right.
The Hulk smash in this one is
And
pretty
Ang Lee,
sick.
I think it was earned.
You say sick, Ben?
I love that.
I think it's pretty bad.
Really?
I thought it was bad.
Yeah. Come on.
It
it's
wasn't
terrible.
No, like,
It wasn't
legit.
earned. I think in Ang Lee it was earned. Like they had been building up to it. Okay, we're gonna do this. And this
I
one,
don't
there's
even-
like a buildup of
He
Hulk's
doesn't
powers
talk at
going through
all
the
as the
movie.
Hulk until
That's
he
why
says
I
Hulk
think it's
smash.
so cool that his like only words basically are Hulk smash. Like I like the silent version.
Even by the time Avengers comes around, they don't have the guts to pull that line.
I liked it in this one. I don't know. There was some the way he says it. It was like guttural, and then he like smashes down.
But does it work for the movie? Does it work
I
for the
think
movie?
it does. I'm not gonna lie. I actually like that scene. For reference, I don't even remember when he said Hulk smash in the first one. If you told me he didn't say it, I would agree with you.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he said it. I thought he said it like twice or 3 times.
Can you point to the scene?
Oh, I mean, I can't like.
Ben, you
point
win.
physically.
Okay, you win.
All right, Ben.
I'm saying I
Guys, Ben's
can't
right.
remember.
Ben's right.
Ben's right every time.
We're talking about a movie I saw 2 days ago versus a movie I saw a year ago. So I don't remember. Well, I remember most of them, but like there are some movies that I've actively tried to blot out of my head, and Hulk was one of them. So that could
Ang Lee
have
Hulk had a lot of really good quotes in it. I think that's what
really
I'll say.
good question
Yeah,
mark.
really memorable quotes.
Okay,
name
memorable.
one of
I
them.
will agree.
Oh yes.
That was a good one, man. That was a good one.
human.
Ben, are we still in this cameo?
Yes,
corner?
we are still in this cameo corner. Stan, the pizza guy,
Maybe he doesn't.
he
say
is the
that.
voice of the animated Hulk from the Hulk series from the 60s,
Wow.
which is an animated Hulk. I was like, this guy's got to be something. They name him Stan.
Yeah.
It could be also a reference to Stan Lee.
He looks like Stan Lee.
He does. So there you go. Sam Elliott, who is not in this movie, but is General Ross in the Hulk 2003 film, wanted to reprise the role. He wanted to be in this movie, and Marvel turned him down. They said no more for you, which I am a little sad about because Sam Elliott is great. Obviously, you have Samuel Stearns as the leader. Ty Burrell, though, does make a cameo. It's not like known. This is why I like it. There's a lot of these in this movie. He has a role, but he is the future Doc Samson, which, if you don't know who that character is basically what if the super soldier serum went right. It's like Hulk serum that he takes, but if it actually did what it was supposed to do. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's another Captain America, basically. But he has like green hair, and he does anger therapy.
Yeah, and I do like diving into the super soldier serum before we've actually seen that movie.
Yeah.
You know, we get.
Yeah,
get
that's
to,
super cool.
We get to talk about it, and then by the time Captain America comes around, you realize, oh, this is why people think that the super soldier serum is so highly important, because it did what it did to Steve Rogers.
I think it's cool that they turned Hulk, his backstory, into the super soldier, and it like plot twisted the whole movie to me at the end when Tony Stark comes in and he's like, "Yeah, I told you that super soldier project wasn't going to work." Whoa, it was super soldier the whole time. Blew my mind.
Doesn't he say, like, there's a reason it was put on ice?
Yeah.
As like a little jab.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That was quick.
I like that. That's
I'm building
pretty
a
good.
team.
I'm building
Right.
a team.
And I'm excited for what's to come. Like
Cameo
that-
corner, RDJ as Tony Stark.
Sure.
There you
We'll count
go.
it.
Definitely qualifies. I think that's all of them that I count.
The color
But-
green everywhere.
You could
The
count
purple
that.
pants.
Yes,
That one deserves
was a
one.
good
That does
Good.
deserve one.
That was good. I like that.
My favorite pants moment, though, in this movie is when he's buying pants at that stand, and he's like, "Will this fit on me as a Hulk?" And there's
really
a pretty
fat
fat woman right behind him, and he kind of like measures it out. He's like, "Nah, these won't work.
I don't
These
think
won't
Not
work."
stretchy.
yeah. That was good. That was really good. I think that's all of them, though. I think, like, I can't remember anything. Also, one more fact that I want to point to before we go to favorite character is that this is the lowest grossing MCU film ever. That's the fact. That's a fact, bro.
Lowest grossing MCU movie?
MCU, not Marvel movie. But
I
Is that right?
I've seen that, and that's been confirmed. Although Mike is looking through his
I'm looking
spreadsheet
through
right
He's
now,
got a spreadsheet, man.
trying
so
heavily
That
to
looks right.
disprove.
spreadsheet doesn't lie.
It looks right.
As far as
Yeah.
MCU goes, this is the lowest grossing movie. Now, I'm not talking about like Electro.
Black Widow got 379, but that's the second place.
But also that was COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
they
majorly
released that at
affected.
home.
Although
on Disney
it
Plus.
probably wouldn't have gotten much more if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Who knows though? Who knows?
Who can say?
Who knows?
Who can
Yeah,
say?
but the difference between second and third is, second and first, that's crazy. So The Incredible Hulk was 265 and Black Widow was 379. Now with inflation, I'm sure that's a bit closer, but still.
That's a good point.
I haven't thrown it into an inflation calculator. I'm not going to, but
You got to throw in COVID though. You just have to. Like
yeah.
it went right to streaming. Like there's a reason.
I did see it
people
in
didn't
theaters
go.
though.
Oh, I saw it in theaters too.
Yeah.
I've seen all of them since Winter Soldier. So, but anyway, I think we've exhausted the topic. unless you guys have anything else you want to say
Not enough smashing.
about the movie.
Not enough smashing. He uses
Not
a lot
enough
of he uses a lot of like shields in this movie, or picks up cars, rips them in half. I liked what the police car uses as kind of boxing gloves. That was cool. Not enough of just like Hulk smashing. It was. I mean, he said Hulk smash once. That may have been what I was thinking of in the Ang Lee Hulk. He smashes more things. Like he's out in that desert and he just destroys things, and it's super cool and just wrecks the military. And I think that's something we need to see more of Hulk.
Yeah. That's what the
Absolutely.
first one did a lot
Yeah.
of. It was basically him versus.
And that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah. But part of this movie reminded me of Morbius. You know, all the blood when you walk into that room and it's just the bags of blood. I'm like, oh,
Gotta see Morbius
Morbius
again.
would have a field day in here. He would.
Good old Morbius, man. Side note, are you getting that Lego set?
There's a Morbius Lego set?
I saw it at the Lego store, bro.
No way. I was
We've
just at the Lego
texted
set.
about this before.
We
Micah.
have.
We've texted about this.
We've thrown this in the chat.
Something else I want to highlight is Hulk is cured in this movie. Is he not? He goes under a cure. He starts turning into the Hulk, and then he's
It's a Spider-Man
turned back
Morbius.
to Bruce Banner.
Right.
And then he's on the plane, and he just decides, I'm going to jump out this plane, hit my face on the pavement, and hopefully turn into the Hulk again. How does that play into this movie?
I think that was used for like stakes, to where it was like, well, if he just goes down there's no stakes, he's gonna win. We have to make it so that maybe he won't turn.
He wasn't dead for long enough. I think he should have laid there for a little longer. To really like bring the stakes up, and then they try something else. Like the military's like, all right, plan B, we're gonna send in all of our stuff still, and then
His fist does come up like really quick.
yeah,
Where it's like you don't even get to
because
live
his
with
eyes
it.
were not green. He was
Yeah.
like, oh no, and then he just.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of this movie, you see him.
There were a lot of people just in the streets still.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
was probably 30 minutes into the fight scene, and it was like real time, not cut time.
Yeah.
30 minutes. They should have evacuated by then, right?
We do get a Hulk reference to this Harlem fight in Daredevil. You know, and
Yes. Harlem Brawl. Yeah.
yeah. But there is a scene cut from this movie at the beginning where we see Edward Norton shoot himself in the head, and it doesn't work. He turns into the Hulk. And that deleted scene is later referenced in the Hulk.
Avengers. Yes.
Yeah, in Avengers, yeah.
Oh.
It's like, I put a bullet in my head, and the other guy spit it out.
other
You
guy
know, it's a
spit it
great line from
Yeah, it is.
Mark Ruffalo.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm excited for the Avengers.
Oh, dude.
You should always be excited.
I
for
haven't seen the Avengers
The first
since probably when
Avengers.
Josh Nielsen played it at youth group one time. When we were over at someone, I think it was even your house.
My house, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
The first Avengers is still in my top 5 MCU. Like,
It's fantastic.
it is that good, to
and
where
it
it's
deserves to be
still,
up there. Yeah.
like-
I don't know if it'll be beat. Something about that first time. We'll have a chance to talk about
We
the
will.
Avengers
Unfortunately, it
coming
won't
up
be
here.
for a while, but I cannot wait for the Avengers. But anyway, gentlemen, let's move over to favorite character in the film. Real quick, Micah.
Real quick.
I mean,
Micah, we know
Unless
you like to
you-
summarize
unless-
the movies in this segment,
Yeah.
but let's
I
just
don't
give character. I got mine ready.
I guess
Okay.
I'll say Tim Blake Nelson's character of whatever his name was,
Samuel Stearns.
Samuel Stearns. I don't know. It was quick appearance. I liked how he was Mr. Blue. Is he a blue Hulk when he transforms? Is that the
He is green with
He's
a
still
large
green?
head.
okay?
Well, elongated, I guess.
I think that could have been a cool opportunity for them to do whatever. I liked how he said a lot of stuff, and he was funny,
Yeah.
and it's about it. There weren't many characters in this movie. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
I just showed Micah a picture of what the
he looks
leader will
wonky.
look like. Yeah, kind of Megamind-esque.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie didn't really have any outstanding characters for me. Not like Ang Lee's Hulk.
Oh, Ang Lee's
Okay.
Hulk. Ben, did
Ethan,
you want to go first, or you want me to share my favorite character?
You go ahead.
All right, I'll since he's still on the board, I'll take Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky, the Abomination. I think everything he does in this film is really good. I think his performance is great. I love just you see his descent into madness as he just wants to get the Hulk. But or I'll talk about this in my favorite scene. But I love the part where he's describing the Hulk, you know, to Thunderbolt Ross for the first time. He's like, there was this thing with Bruce. It was huge. And he's just in awe of this amazing creature. And I love that just sparks into his obsession. So I think he's a good character. And I mean, I'd agree he's very different in She-Hulk. And sure, maybe that's not possible that he could change that much, but he's also been in prison for a very long time. But anyway, in this film, I do love him, and I love his determination, and the action sequences he gets are really cool.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see more of that Emil Blonsky. I think that in this movie, it needed more of that. It needed more of that malicious, like, hunt for the Hulk that Emil Blonsky was offering.
I would say if I can't pick Ty Burrell as my favorite character,
He's not in.
He's barely.
He's in the movie for like a second, and then he betrays.
He's in the
our good
trailer.
guys.
You're gonna
more
say
than he is
Liv
in the
Tyler.
movie.
You're gonna say Liv Tyler.
Absolutely not. She's my least favorite. She's my least favorite part of this movie. And to be different, I will go
so good in
with
Wolverine.
Thunderbolt Ross.
Yes, there you
I think some of his line delivery is great because it's so like uniquely him. Like, do not lose him. Like, who says it like that? But I like that he is like that. He's an army general. Like, get him, shoot him, get out of the way. Like, it's very much his dialogue, the way that he can give it. And I think he rivals Sam Neill. No, not Sam Neill. Sam Elliott in the first Hulk, Ang Lee's
There
Hulk.
were moments in this movie where I was like,
I think he does a great
I
job.
think it should be Sam Elliott right here.
That's true. I mean, well, there are many moments in life where you're like, Sam Elliott should be here right
I think
now.
Sam Elliott should be the new cameo in every movie.
Ooh. No, you can't do that. Not for Stan Lee. Not to replace Stan Lee.
Oh,
No
well,
one can
we
do
know that
no one can do
the
that
real
again.
cameo should
Yeah.
be Wong. Every movie.
Heck yeah. I go with that one. I'm with that one. But segueing to our favorite scene, Ethan, you said you had
Yeah,
one.
I'm going Emil Blonsky 1v1's the Hulk. I think that sequence is so cool where he has a little bit of the super soldier serum in him, and he's just doing flips and Daredevil-esque gymnastics all around this Hulk. I thought it was super cool, and I really enjoyed seeing that.
That is an epic scene. Micah, do you have one?
The only part that made me smile or laugh at all in this movie was when he gave the pizza to the security guard, and it was Lou Ferrigno.
Excellent. No,
And now that the computer nerd is actually a canon future appearance as Mr. Harrington in Spider-Man, I think that's just even better.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at that a little bit differently now because I've never noted. I've been an MCU fan all my life, and I'm now finding out that Mr. Harrington is the guy from the Hulk. But I think
The
my
Incredible
favorite,
Hulk,
the
actually.
Incredible Hulk. I don't want to mess that up. But I think that my favorite scene is got to be Hulk's first transformation.
That's
in
great. It's a great scene.
In the
They do the
factory.
transformations really well in this.
Yes.
Like, it looks grotesque going out.
And you hear the bones popping
Yeah.
like out of joints. Yeah,
but
that's
I
a
like
good
how
Better
he's
than the
thing.
Ang Lee Hulk.
He goes,
Yeah.
"Don't make me hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm. Oh, that's not right."
It's like, wait,
I love when they
he's like,
quote
I said
Morbius
that
like
wrong.
that.
But he's so
Another
badly.
Morbius reference right there.
Like, even though he doesn't like these guys and they're beating him up, he so badly doesn't want to turn because he knows how badly it's going to turn
Yeah.
out for everyone around him. And that right there is the only moment where you truly get to see the conflict that makes Hulk interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
The
talking
fact-
about. I thought you were talking about Morbius. Okay.
No. The fact that he is so concerned with everyone else and the hurt that he could cause to everyone else is the main reason that he is interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love his conflict of he has this problem that could decimate people, so he cannot get angry. It's such a great conflict that really does not get enough screen time. But in that one moment, you see that. And so for more reasons than one, Hulk turning and that conflict, that scene is my favorite scene in the
You
movie.
could have been talking about Morbius right there. Like,
Could have
that,
been.
that was like the.
I think, yeah,
crazy.
that's why I think for like second favorite scene, which we're not going to dive into, but I do like the whole beginning part of this movie where you do see his struggle with that and him trying to master the abilities. He's with the diaphragm guy and the
Dude, that
learning
was
meditation
whack.
techniques.
Yeah.
I think that could have been a like. This could have been Disney might have made this into a show if it came out today. I think there could have been
The Hulk?
an episode or two in Brazil where he's like training and getting used to his anger management. Maybe an episode of him getting to Brazil and his struggle with running away from the government in America, trying to get over, and then his development in Brazil, and then him using the Hulk a little bit in Brazil, and then goes on to the rest of the movie kind of thing. I think that this could have been drawn out into a whole show, and then we could have more Emil Blonsky and more of him with the experiments, and we could have seen more of Mr. Blue. I keep forgetting his name, Stearns. All this stuff.
You say more of this is
I
better.
think more of this is what this movie needs.
Really?
I think that these characters are so close. Like, they're not quite there. They're not really like the story that they put out. Like, there's something there. There's something there. You can
Agreed.
tell that like, we love the Brazil scenes. Those are cool. I think that after that, it kind of just like turns into a generic action movie that happens to have the Hulk in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we need more of that earlier
Like
build up
Fugitive
so that we
Hulk.
can care about these characters more.
I like that.
Because if it's not Ang Lee Hulk characters that are going into this movie as a sequel, then there's no attachment.
Yeah, and when turning anything into a show, you have to walk the line where, like, are we just dissecting a movie and dispersing it? You know, we had some shows this year that came out that definitely should have been movies that weren't executed good as shows, so you got to find that happy medium. But yeah, if the story's there, they would do that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked back then, though, because
No.
shows back then were like, you either make one season and it dies or whatever, and you make 15 seasons and then it dies.
Right. Yeah.
Let's
There were no
like
limited
that.
series, really.
I like that. I like that take. Gentlemen, it's time for scores.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got my score.
You got your score, Micah?
Yep.
Hit us with it first.
The Incredible Hulk. It is anything but incredible, in my opinion.
Oh,
I think it is.
How low is he gonna go?
Yeah.
While it is not.
Remind the audience of your first Hulk score.
Reference Ang Lee's Hulk score.
Yeah, Ang Lee's
Yeah.
Hulk, I gave a 5.6.
5.6.
Okay.
Let me
And
tell you.
I'm getting the feeling you liked Ang Lee's Hulk more than this one.
Yes, I did
Wow.
like Ang Lee's Hulk a
Wow.
little bit more, just because it had a bit more character in it. And to compare it to, what's his name? Zach Penn's last movie that we watched that he wrote
It was Elektra.
was Elektra. I gave that a 1. So I think it's a bit of a step up.
Happy medium. Okay.
Happy medium here. We're going to go, while this wasn't offensively bad, I said that earlier, there was nothing in this movie that I think was terrible. That was like, all right, this is a disservice to Hulk. Sure, he could have smashed more. He could have been smash it. But he can't get his heart rate up. He can't get too excited. Come on, guys. Not even a little bit. So we're going to give Hulk, The Incredible Hulk from 2008, a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
5 out of 10.
Wow.
The first
right there. Yeah.
5 out of 10 from me.
Wow.
The first, fourth solid number that I've given.
Cut right down the middle. I like it. Ethan?
Oh, he's also the wrong color green. I'll say that. That is
He's
all.
a specific style, I guess. That's what
Yeah,
they were
his
going
green
for. But
teeth
He's very
and-
tendony.
I like
It's different.
His pectorals are very.
It's got like
tended.
zero body fat on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
that's what they were going for, though. So I mean, they
it's
achieved
weird.
it. I don't personally like it either.
It's funny. You have these two super small guys in Tim Roth and Edward Norton, and then they just turn into these big brooding monsters. It's kind
Yeah.
of funny.
True.
No, but I'll give my score for this movie. So I think that it's for sure a step down from Iron Man, 100%. But I think it is a step up from everything outside of major properties. Like, I think that the X-Men films are probably a bit better than this. Sam Raimi Spider-Man's for sure better
For
than
sure.
this. I would put this under most of the Blade films. But all these random movies that we've got, like Daredevil, Elektra, Howard the Duck,
It is a step up.
I think it's a step up from those. And for that reason, so I think that the character work isn't the best, but I do think that a lot of the action is really fun. And I think it doesn't, I was bored towards the end, but I wasn't incredibly bored.
Yeah.
There's a degree of which this could have been a lot more slow. So, well, it doesn't have any standout characters other than Thaddeus Ross and Emil Blonsky. And the pacing is a little off. I'll give this a 6. I like putting this at a solid 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
6.
So
Okay.
you'd say it's better than Blade Trinity.
I would, yeah. But
About the same as like Fantastic Four, X-Men Last Stand, kind of. Yeah.
where'd I put Fantastic Four in there?
6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right there, 6.
I'd say, yeah. So
It-
it's certified fresh by Ethan Westlaw.
It does
Barely.
remind you, though, of those like middle of the road Marvel movies.
It does,
because
yeah.
with Iron Man we had something special. You could really latch on to that movie and see like, oh wow, even if this doesn't turn into something huge, I really enjoyed this movie. This does not have that. This has the feeling of some of those movies. Now I agree with Ethan though; it is a step up. I think I gave Ang Lee's Hulk like a freaking 2.
Yeah, what did I give?
It
Ang
is-
You
Lee's?
gave it a 3, Ben.
3.
Ethan, you gave it a 5.
I absolutely hated Ang Lee's Hulk. That's an
But he loved
that is an
Punisher,
abomination.
So
Yeah,
really-
he gave Punisher an 8. So let's
We've
calm
been
down.
through this, gentlemen.
be,
We have been through this.
We'll be there again
Take
next
whatever
time
Ben
too with
rates with a
Punisher
grain of
Warzone.
salt.
I think this is such a big step up, and I'm not necessarily like, I never find myself bored during this movie. It's just that there's nothing really special about it. Like, the performances are all mediocre, except for the villains, I guess. They do a pretty good job. Hulk looks very off. The movie is not given enough runtime, which I agree with Mike on that. Maybe a little bit more could have helped. Liv Tyler is atrocious.
Bad.
There's a lot of good cameo and world building in this movie, but that's not enough to make me as interested until Tony Stark says we're building a team at the end. And that feels largely separate from the movie. So all of that being said, it's a significant step down from Iron Man, but a way big step up from Ang Lee's Hulk. I give this a 6.5.
Ooh. All right. Ben doesn't give half scores too often.
I was thinking about a 7, and then I was like,
It's a bit high.
even that is
It's
a
bit
little too
high,
high. But I
yeah.
can't go 6, you know? I
You think
feel like
6 is
that's
too low?
That's a little low.
I don't know.
In my opinion. I mean, that's my opinion. But I can't, it's somewhere right in the middle, so 6.5.
For someone who gave Punisher an 8, I think a 6.5 for Hulk.
Gentlemen, how long are we going to harp on this? I genuinely enjoyed
Till
it.
the end of time.
Well,
when
we'll get to talk about it a ton next week, because next week, unfortunately, we are leaving the MCU for a short run, a 2-film run to be exact. We're going to hop into Punisher Warzone next week, and then right after that, we have X-Men Origins Wolverine, I believe.
let me check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
X-Men Origins.
X-Men
That is the-
Origins. I'm actually excited for that
Just-
one.
That
Okay.
was the only movie that came out in 2009.
Yeah, just
And
because
Iron Man 2 was the only one in 2010.
Yeah.
Oh.
They were taking their time after that.
We were working to get to Iron Man, and just because we made it to Iron Man and we made it to the MCU doesn't mean we get to stay in it. Yes, so next week is Punisher Warzone, and Ben, who was a massive fan of the first Punisher film, well, maybe he'll enjoy this one, but the plot is as follows. Frank Castle, known as the Punisher, ruthlessly demolishes organized crime, but it starts an even bigger war. And this is not really available anywhere. You can get it on Amazon to rent or buy, but you can watch it on Peacock if you have a subscription.
Oh.
Peacock is free, right?
If you have a subscription, which I do, so you can,
Oh.
I'll just give you my subscription.
Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna buy it.
Are you going to buy it?
Yeah, I'll buy it. I've got the first one.
But the first one's good,
No, it's not.
in your opinion.
I set up my shelf with all of my 4K Blu-rays that I've
Ooh,
bought
nice.
from the series. It's looking pretty cool. Actually.
Nice.
It's
That-
all in.
okay,
chronological.
regardless of the quality of the films, that's just cool, man.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
care
cool.
who you are. That's epic.
Because you always see the MCU movies all laid out in their sleeves and everything, but you don't see Howard the Duck among
No, you don't.
and Blade.
Do you have the 4K Howard the Duck?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
See, that's just cool, man. That is epic. You got to send me a picture
The
of that.
Blade 4K is really cool.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. They don't have. I don't have Blade 2 or 3 because that's not in 4K yet. But anyway, our ranking. I have done the math. I have plugged it into our ranking here, and I will say our average score is 5.8.
5.8. And at this
5.8.
point, how many films have we watched?
We've watched 19 films.
19 films. And what
19.
place does this rank?
This
on our
is
list?
in 12th place, just below Ghost Rider at 6.1, and just above The Punisher at 5.5.
below Ghost Rider.
Below Ghost Rider, it is
Oh, I don't
worse.
like that.
We whiffed.
I
We
think
whiffed
it's
it
worse
today.
than Ghost Rider.
I don't think it is.
Ah,
I think it's
it is
better
either.
than both those films you just named.
I think it is. Well, no, not Punisher, but
We know, Ben.
it's my 7.8 for Ghost Rider that brought up that score, but
oh, it is.
yeah,
And it's Ben's 8 on Punisher, which brings that film up.
Yeah, it would have been a lot lower.
Much lower.
I didn't do that out of spite, gentlemen. I genuinely think that movie's an 8.
Hey, and respect to you, question mark, maybe?
Maybe.
Ben thought that Ghost Rider was a half point lower than The Incredible Hulk. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Ghost Rider is as good as this movie.
okay.
Even though
Pretty
this
close,
movie
though.
is
Close,
not
though.
the greatest.
What did I rank
Okay.
Ghost Rider?
You gave Ghost Rider a where am I at? 4.5.
Okay, I still agree with that.
Okay.
It's nice. It's really cool. This spreadsheet, this whole deal is so
Because I would
cool.
not have remembered that.
It's-
but
no,
I
right.
totally agree with my scores that I've been putting down. I'm like, oh yeah. When I think of that movie,
Yep.
that's a perfectly solid score for me.
It's going to be very interesting as time goes on and we start getting into some truly fabulous superhero films.
Once we get to Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh my
where's that going
gosh.
to rank? Like we'll have seen
That's what's so
Avengers,
cool
we'll
about
have
it,
seen Iron
man.
Man 3 by Winter Soldier.
Like, because my favorite is Endgame.
I
But
love. the
where's
Guardians
that
movies.
going to shake out in this ranking? Because we have 3 guys here. That's what is. I cannot wait
If
to
I want to
keep going.
tank Endgame, I have the power to tank
You
Endgame.
have the power.
Zero Dookie movie.
There you go.
We did historically give out our lowest score last week. And
did.
it wasn't a part of the Marvel movie marathon. It was part of our new Star Wars marathon. Me and Ben watched the holiday special.
What'd you guys give it? I didn't watch it.
a 0.5.
A 0.5
Listen,
collectively.
it is. We both gave it a 0.5
Wow.
because it was something you could watch.
Now I gotta watch this.
It is.
The first appearance of Boba Fett. The first appearance of a.
It's true.
I think that's
white
why we gave it a 0.5.
Yes. No. It was because of that cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah. But-
Kashyyykin.
I'm telling you right now, it is so bad. It's so bad. Like, not even laughably bad. Not in a Napoleon Dynamite sort of way. It is just atrocious.
Is it an hour and a half?
It's an hour and 40. Yeah.
Never watch it, Micah.
Ever.
Never watch it.
Going home and I'm watching it.
Maybe you would like it. I'm not sure. But
I liked Howard the Duck.
that's true.
I will
But-
say Howard the Duck is better than the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. I will say that. Quack Fu is negs everything in the holiday special for sure.
Howard the Duck. Did it. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Let's crack this egg.
We have a 2022 in review and as well as looking forward to 2023 podcast coming out soon.
Is that going to come out
So-
before or after this?
I'm not
recording?
sure, but look forward to that one because it's going to come out right out at the same time.
You listeners
About
will know.
So look forward to that one as well as our Star Wars movie marathon. We are going to be watching Empire soon, which I'm looking greatly forward to, as well as Punisher Warzone, which I admittedly am not as much looking forward to watching. But
What do you mean? It's the sequel to your favorite movie.
Yeah,
that's
come on,
true.
Ben.
Not my favorite movie. Let's just keep that one clear. But I will say we've got a lot
You
of
like
cool
the
stuff coming out,
Spider-Man.
and I mean, Bad Batch is out right now on Disney Plus, which is I thought the first 2 episodes were really solid, a solid start. So that one we're probably going to do an after show on. So stay forward, stay tuned. We've got a lot coming out.
The
And-
Last of Us is coming out too. Ethan and I, I'm not doing school this semester, so Ethan and I, we're gonna be doing that podcast every
Yeah.
week.
I love it. I love to see that. I have no affinity, and I probably won't watch it. But if it gets like the stellar reviews, I probably.
I mean,
would
it
give
stars
a check
Pedro
out.
Pascal.
Yeah,
It's about an apocalypse, so I think
And-
that's good enough for me.
yeah.
That is true.
It's gonna be
So
good.
stay tuned. Watch that if you like. Other than that, this has been Rayside.
This is Ethan Wenslaw.
This is Mike Ahead.
Signing off. We all hope you have a fabulous day and a happy new year.